Hello. For collaboration group 2, we have chosen Google as our company. Google's mission statement is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Google was founded by two Stanford grad students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, in 1998. These two came up with the idea for Google in their dorm room and wanted to make a search engine that linked a bunch of websites together. And so far, I think they've done a pretty good job. They first named the search engine Backrub, which was shortly changed to Google. Google is a play on words because it is a term used by mathematicians and spelled Googol to reference 10 to the power of 100, which is an extremely long number that is just called Google. They like the name Google because their search engine would have an extremely large number of websites instead of just one and a ton of zeros like the mathematicians name Google. It is essential for Google to have accountants because they have so many different parts to their company. A few types of accountants that Google needs are cost accountants, tax professionals, and auditors. Google's mission statement is to provide access to the world's information in just one click. Google as a whole's main focus is providing people the information that they desire at the easiest and fastest way possible.
I performed a job analysis using the observation method of an accountant. The advantage of the observation method is that you can perform an observation and have direct exposure of the job duties of what an accountant does, which is better than just reading a job description. The disadvantage is that you can't really get all of the details of the job, such as the stress and the pressure of deadlines and also financial problems that some accountants face. Based on my observation, an accountant's day consists of making journal entries, paying and recording invoices, processing payroll, and preparing and compiling financial statements. In between those normal duties, an accountant must communicate throughout the day with managers and employees. They must exhibit a working knowledge of Microsoft Excel and also whatever accounting program that the company uses, such as QuickBooks. Accountants must understand the rules of GAAP. This is a huge priority because all publicly traded companies must use GAAP. They also must use GAAP when they're preparing their financial statements in order to get a loan. GAAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. These are rules, in other words, of what rules they must go by when they're preparing the financial statements and recording journal entries. A working knowledge of income tax is also important. All publicly traded companies must pay taxes. The accountant typically is responsible for preparing those tax returns as well. Otherwise, a company would have to hire an outside CPA firm, which sometimes is what happens. Overall, I feel that the observation method was a good method, especially for the accounting job. There are different types of job analysis, but I feel like that really you should choose which method is better depending on what type of job you're analyzing. An accountant's job is easy to observe because you can really get a feel for what they do day to day and what the job requirements are.
That's absolutely right, Melanie. The observational method is a great way to outline and identify the abilities and skills and tasks involved in the job that you're analyzing. In order to do that, we've created a form that a rater can fill out on a quarterly basis.
Here we have prepared a template for human resources managers to analyze the job performance of an employee or just a position. And it needs to be analyzed by one person and reviewed by someone else who is in a different department. And there are places for the period of performance, scope of work, essential skills. These can be added to if they need to. Supervision needed. This is usually performed quarterly as opposed to biannually because sometimes it can be contracted out this position could be contracted out, and that means day-to-day operations are not necessarily supervised. This can be added to if needed for the specific branch of the company, a place for work performed, critical incidents throughout the period of review, and other relevant observations. It's important to note that critical incidents can be either positive or negative, and they are recorded on a separate form from this one and kept by the supervisor and included here with a number specifically for that report.
This has been Phillip, Jarrett, and Melanie in Group 2 with a job analysis on an accountant at Google. Thank you for watching.